Welcome to Desert Island Tim's. My castaway this week is one of those rare things in politics, someone who cares. He says it as he sees it, and he's not afraid to stand up for his beliefs. George Galloway, how are you, sir?
Very well, and honoured to be a guest, a castaway with Desert Island Tim's. Very good company and great to meet you. You're a legend in this business, and I'm looking forward to the show.
Thanks very much. Your life growing up in Dundee, what was it like?
Well, I was born in the Irish immigrant quarter of Dundee, which was once actually just outside Dundee, called Lochee, or Tipperary, as it was popularly known. My grandparents arrived in their bare feet at Anderston Quay in Glasgow and walked in their bare feet the road in the miles to Dundee, 18 miles, to work in the jute and flax mills there in Lochee. When I left school, I did myself. Some of those relatives lived to see me elected as the Member of Parliament for Anderston Quay, which I'm particularly proud of, even though the Daily Record excrescence is there today. It is the boat where the boats came in. And of course, as they moved through Anderston, Partick, they would have been confronted with the famous signs, no dogs, no Irish, inhospitable welcome for Irish immigrants at that time. And so I was brought up in that ethos, and I was born in 12A Athol Street, which is no longer there in that form, but it was a slum tenement. I was born in an attic with a sloping roof, obviously, and such was the slope on the roof that I spent my first weeks, maybe even a couple of months, sleeping in a drawer. Not a closed drawer, I could add, a drawer taken out of the chest of drawers. Because there was no room for the cot. And then when I was 4 years old, I moved to a brand new spanking council house estate, still in Lochee, called Charleston, kind of overspill from the slum clearance programme that the Labour government and council was then involved in. And that was a transformation in my life. Suddenly, the toilet seat wasn't always warm because you were sharing it with 4 other families. Suddenly you had a garden, front, side and back. There was a smell of new paint, new cement. It was a wonderful time. I had a wonderful childhood, I must say. And I was born into the most loving of homes. My father was a factory worker, a trade union activist in the engineering union, the AEU as it was then known and now is again. As a section of Unite, and my mother was a school cleaner. My father retrained and became a teacher in his late 40s after being made redundant from the factory. But for most of their lives, my parents earned their living by sweating, by the sweat of their own brow. But no family could have been more inquiring and determined that we should all inquire, that we should read, that we should look things up. Don't ask questions, go and look in the encyclopedia and so on. It was an amazing family, a very political one, historically conscious, especially on the Irish question. My maternal grandfather has now ended up in the Penguin Book of Quotations. It's a true story. I came home and told him that the teacher had said that Britain had an empire so vast that upon it the sun never set. And he answered, that's because God would never trust the British in the dark, which is a stroke of genius from a mill worker. He really did say it, and I've really got it in the Book of Quotations. I'm very proud about that.
Your first song?
Well, I have the great privilege of having become a good friend of Yusuf Islam, who is now, of course, a man who runs Islamic schools, though he's recently made a return to music, though not quite the music that he was doing before, as Cat Stevens. But I always felt the spirituality of Cat Stevens, even long before he discovered religion and became a Muslim. I knew that he was a believer in God, as I am myself. I knew that he felt that there was more to life and the universe than material things, that the spiritual was centrally important to the human race. And I think that one of the songs that he sang as Cat Stevens would pass muster now as a spiritual song in his new canon. And it's Morning Has Broken, and I hope people enjoy it.
Morning has broken like the first morning. Blackbird has spoken like the first bird. Praise for the singing, praise for the morning, praise for them springing fresh from the world. Sweet the rain's new fall, sunlit from heaven, like the first dew fall on the first grass. Praise for the sweetness of the red garden, sprung in completeness where his feet Mine is the sunlight, mine is the morning, born of the one light Eden saw play. Praise with elation, praise every morning, God's recreation of the new day. Morning has broken like the first morning. Blackbird has spoken like the first bird. Praise for the singing, praise for the morning, praise for them springing fresh from the world.
That was Morning Has Broken by Cat Stevens. What took you into politics?
Well, I was born into politics, really. Ours was a house in which politics was constantly discussed. My father was an official in the union, but also an activist in the Labour Party. And our house was basically an election rooms every time there was an election, and that was every year in those days for the council, and then every 4 or 5 years for general elections. I was handing out leaflets at school gates from when I was 5 or 6 years old with my father. He was a great Labour man. He was not as left-wing as me. He was more of a mainstream Labour figure. He loved Harold Wilson, for example. He thought that Harold Wilson was the bee's knees. I later got to know Harold Wilson very well, and he was indeed an outstanding figure. But I would never have said I identified with his politics, but my father did. My mother was more left-wing than my father, but both were Labour people within the Labour tradition. So I was always the kid at school who knew who the president of Uganda was, who had just won the election in Ouagadougou. I grew up in a house that considered politics to be vitally important. Just to give you an example, we were never allowed to watch ITV, never. So to this day, at my age, I have never seen Coronation Street, never, because my parents regarded ITV as irredeemably trash television. We were only allowed to watch the BBC when the BBC was maybe something in the way that it currently is not. And BBC Two, especially when that came out, all the time seeking to improve ourselves, learn more, raise our level of culture. This was their great ambition. So it was inevitable that I would live a political life. I never knew that I'd be 26 years an MP, let alone in 4 constituencies in 2 countries. But I always knew I'd live a political life, and I thank God every day that I've been able to earn a living, a good living, from doing things I would do for nothing.
Yes.
I hope they're not listening. They might start paying me nothing.
Your second song?
Well, this again sounds as if it's a religious song, and in a way it is. It's called Halo by Beyonce, a person I find to be of rare beauty and grace. And her voice is truly that of an angel. And this song called Halo reminds me very much of when I met my wife. I felt that she had this halo of spirituality about her, which is always something that's important to me. And I think that good people do have a kind of halo. They have a kind of aura, which is sometimes rare to find. It can be misleading also, of course, but not in her case. And so it's Halo by Beyonce.
Remember those walls I built? Well, baby, they're tumbling down. And they didn't even put up a fight. They didn't even make the sound. I found a way to let you in, but I never really had a doubt. Standing in the light of your halo, I got my angel now. It's like I've been awakened. Every rule I had you breaking. It's the risk that I'm taking. I ain't never gonna shut you out. Everywhere I'm looking now, I'm surrounded by your embrace. Baby, I can see your halo. You know you're my saving grace. You're everything I need and more. It's written all over your face. Baby, I can feel your halo. Pray it won't fade away. See your halo. See your halo. Hit me like a ray of sun, burning through my darkest night. You're the only one that I want, and I'm addicted to your light. I swore I'd never fall again, but this don't even feel like falling. Gravity can't begin to pull me back to the ground again. It's like I've been awakened. Every rule I had you breaking. The risk that I'm taking, I'm never gonna shut you out. Everywhere I'm looking now, I'm surrounded by your embrace. Baby, I can see your halo. You know you're my saving grace. You're everything I need and more. It's written all over your face. Baby, I can feel your halo. Pray it won't fade away. See your halo. See your halo. See your Everywhere I'm looking now, I'm surrounded by your embrace. Baby, I can see your halo. You know you're my saving grace. You're everything I need and more.
That was Halo by Beyonce. Who are your influences and your heroes?
The prophets, of course, the Bible, the Quran are constant companions of mine, and the Word of God, which I believe them to be, is fundamental to my life. But I've been lucky enough to know some of my contemporary heroes, some of them very well. How lucky is this? I'm a friend of Nelson Mandela. I'm a friend of Fidel Castro. I'm a friend of the son of Che Guevara, Camilo. I have worked with some of the greatest people that are alive today, and some now past, but really important figures. So if I was going to President Arafat, I should have mentioned I was a close friend of his, the late Benazir Bhutto, cruelly assassinated in Pakistan 5 or 6 years ago. I was close to all of these people, and they were people of great inspiration to me. But of those still alive, the greatest, I should also have mentioned Comandante Hugo Chavez, another personal friend of mine now passed, another titanic figure. I've been really lucky in my life to know all these people and know them well. But of those still alive, my hero would be Fidel Castro, as one of the greatest men of the 20th century, and now still standing in the 21st. 11 US presidents later, virtually every one of whom tried to kill him, but he's seen them all come and go. And of those now dead, but contemporary, in the sense of having lived in the same lifetime as me, it would be Che Guevara, who is, I think, the complete man. He was not a Cuban, but he struggled and suffered and could easily have died to bring freedom to the people of Cuba. He was not an African, but he fought alongside Patrice Lumumba in the Congo to try to bring freedom to the people of Africa. He was not Vietnamese, but he risked his life in Vietnam to help them repel US aggression and invasion. And he was not Bolivian, but he gave his life there in Bolivia to try to liberate the people of that country. And of course, his full name includes the name Lynch. So he's a great Irishman also. So as a cornucopia of goodness, I think that takes the biscuit.
Your third song?
My third song is from someone a little less graceful than Beyonce, a little more outrageous, but still a great turn. It's Rihanna, and again, it reminds me of my wife. It reminds me of our time together in Jakarta before we got married, before she accepted my proposal. But we did find love there, and it's called Found Love in a Hopeless Place.
Yellow diamonds in the light, and we're standing side by side as the shadow crosses mine. What it takes to come alive. It's the way I'm feeling, I just can't deny. But I gotta let it go. We found yellow diamonds in the light. And we're standing side by side as your shadow crosses mine. We found love in a hopeless place. We found love in a hopeless place. We found love in a hopeless place. We found love in a hopeless
What are your earliest memories of going to Celtic Park?
The jungle. I was a great lover of the jungle. Younger listeners will perhaps never have set foot in the jungle, but for those of us who ever did, it was an unforgettable experience. Travelling on the supporters' bus from Dundee to games, home and away. A man called Jimmy Divers, who owned a pub in Lochie, ran that bus. I'm sure he's deceased now, God rest his soul. It was unforgettable Celtic in the 1960s. It was, without shadow of a doubt, not just Celtic's greatest days, but the greatest days that any football club will ever experience, because this was a side that was built by Jock Stein, a Protestant. I reminded my audience at the Fringe in Edinburgh today, just to make the point that there's nothing religiously sectarian about Celtic, and never has been. Jock Stein built a team that cost almost nothing, and that came from a very short radius, some 40 miles of the city of Glasgow. No team ever before or since will have achieved the greatness that that side achieved with those coordinates. Nowadays, a team costs hundreds of millions of pounds to build. It comes like the Harlem Globetrotters from everywhere and anywhere and stays just a little time. But the Celtic team at that time was consistently brilliant. And some of them, individually, were not the greatest of players, but it was, for a time, the greatest of teams. And showing one of the great beauties of football, that something can be a sum that is greater than its individual parts. And that has to be down to the greatness of Stein. And the players that we had there, some of whom have now passed from us, some of the greatest of them, Jimmy Johnson, Bobby Murdoch, have passed. I think Ronnie Simpson, also deceased, have passed from us now, but they will never be forgotten. Like Jock Stein, they truly are immortal. Celtic was run by the Biscuit Tin Brigade at that time, which turned out to have its real shortcomings. And I supported the campaign led by my very dear friend Brian Dempsey to overthrow the Biscuit Tin Brigade. But I'm not sure that what we have now is all that it could be or should be. And there were some aspects of the Biscuit Tin days that were more wholesome than we have today. I remember very well, I was talking about it today at the Fringe. We have a Celtic Supporters Club in Parliament, which is MPs, lords, and policemen and workers in the building and so on. And Fergus McCann came down to speak to us, and he went on all night about us as customers and how he was determined to give us a better deal as customers. And finally I said, listen, Fergus, we're not customers. Customers can take their custom elsewhere. If what's on display is rubbish, they can go across the road and buy somebody else's goods. But that's not us. We're here because our fathers and our grandfathers were here, and our children and their children will be here. We're more than customers, so please don't patronise us. At the very least, the old Biscuit Tin Brigade would have realised that, would have understood that instinctively. And I'm not apologising to the Biscuit Tin Brigade. Although some of them were always very kind to me. Chris White, the secretary, for example, was always very kind to me. I'm not apologising to them, and I'm certainly not breaking with Brian Dempsey and his friends that helped to transform the club. And of course, the stadium we have today is out of all recognition to that which we had in those days. And I may be just being nostalgic, but I don't get the same feeling sitting in a box that I did standing in the jungle.
Yes. Your fourth song.
Now this is an important song in that I'm one of the world's greatest Bob Dylan fans. I have everything that Bob Dylan ever made in triplicate and more. And he very rarely does someone record a Dylan song better than he did it, in my view. But this song, To Make You Feel My Love, is first of all an unbelievable love song, unbelievable, powerful poetry. And I believe that Dylan is the greatest poet since Shakespeare. I think he is in the league with Shakespeare. But Adele, an English girl from South London, manages to sing this song even better than Dylan. In fact, quite a considerable bit better than Dylan. And it's one of the songs which has transformed her life. She was very sad when she was singing these songs. She's happier now. She's married and got a baby and very happy, and I'm very happy for her. I don't know her, but I feel a great affection for her, not least because of the way she delivers this Bob Dylan classic, To Make You Feel My Love.
When the rain is blowing in your face and the whole world is on your case, I could offer you a warm embrace to make you feel my love. When the evening shadows and the stars appear and there is no one there to dry your tears, I could hold you for a million years to make you feel my love. I know you haven't made your mind up yet, but I will never do you wrong. I've known it from the moment that we met, no doubt in my mind where you belong. I'd go hungry, I go black and blue, I go crawling down the avenue. No, there's nothing that I wouldn't do to make you feel my love. The storms are raging on the rolling sea and on the highway of regret. The winds of change are blowing wild and free. You ain't seen nothing like me yet. I could make you happy, make your dreams come true. Nothing that I wouldn't do. Go to the ends of the earth for you to make you feel my love, to make you feel my love.
Mr. Galloway, what irritates you?
Hypocrisy is the biggest sin. I hate people who say one thing and do another, who say one thing today and something different tomorrow, who say one thing here but a different thing there. I hate hypocrisy, I hate cynicism, the kind of mentality that says, well, nothing can ever change. I'm all right, Jack. Look after yourself, look after number one, that kind of cynicism. This is the devil talking. And this is not what we're here for. People who not only change their political ideas, but hope that we didn't notice that they changed, never explaining why they were wrong before and they're right now, why we should have believed them before and should believe them now when they're saying something diametrically opposite. I know that you know I'm talking about Dr. John Reid, the erstwhile chairman of Glasgow Celtic, who, when I met him, was an Irish Republican, communist, hardline, Stalinist, and who has become effectively a mouthpiece for American imperialism and a betrayer of everything that Labour once stood for. He, in a way, is a walking exemplification of cynicism and hypocrisy, because he's never once explained why we should believe him now when he was saying something completely different before. So I hate these things. Like any human being, I get irritated if somebody doesn't let me emerge onto the main road or cuts me up on the road and so on. But these irritations quickly pass. The former, however, are profound irritations and things against which I struggle.
Your fifth song?
Well, this one reminds me of my first wife and the mother of my daughter, who is herself now a mother of 4. And we came upon this song on a jukebox in Morocco in the early 1970s and danced to it in this really rather dusty joint. And it's by a very great artist who has achieved miracles. I mean, this is God's work. This artist has been completely blind all of his life, and yet is able to write songs about beauty when he's never seen beauty. He has never seen anything. He's never seen the sky, doesn't know what a human being looks like, doesn't know what anything looks like. And yet his songs have such power and such sweep of all the emotions of life that I've been a lifelong supporter of Stevie Wonder, and this is his best song, Superstition.
Very superstitious, writings on the wall. Very superstitious, letters about to fall. 13-month-old baby broke the looking glass. 7
That was Superstition by Stevie Wonder. How do you relax?
I don't get a lot of time to relax, to be honest. I switch off during a good football game, but not a bad one. If it's a bad one, I'm afraid my mind goes back to more earthly preoccupations. I like movies. I don't sleep all that much. I have the benefit of not needing much sleep, so and my wife, who is considerably younger than me, is in the same boat, so we watch a lot of movies late at night, and we enjoy that very much. I have, by the grace of God, many children, and I enjoy my time with them as much as I possibly can, and God willing, I hope to have more. I can multitask. So, for example, driving through Scotland in the last couple of days, I can enjoy the beauty but still be thinking about the war in Afghanistan at the same time. I'm lucky that my mind works very quickly and on very many levels. So relaxation, in the sense that most people enjoy it, I kind of don't get a lot of. I've got a big garden that I don't spend any time on, and it shows. But I don't get any satisfaction out of painting walls or building dry stained dikes or any of that. So normal therapies I don't really have a great deal of time for. Maybe one day I'll be able to slow down a bit, but for the moment I've never been busier.
Fantastic. Your sixth song?
Well, Prince is the king for me. His body of work is truly phenomenal. I had the pleasure to know him more than 20 years ago, and to hang out with him. And he's a fascinating wee guy. He's a brilliant musician, a brilliant songwriter, an amazing performer, a dancer, a mover on stage like no other. And he's written some really outstanding songs that will stand the test of time. This one was the last occasion that I communicated with him. It was at the time of the first Iraq War in the early 1990s, and I communicated to him that I thought that this work was really of profound importance. It's important both for what it says about the war which had then just happened, and also about the proper approach to life, and you'll understand what I mean when you hear the lyrics of Money Don't Matter by Prince.
One more card and it's 22. Unlucky for him, making. He never had respect for money, it's true. That's why he never wins. That's why he never ever has enough to treat his lady right. He just pushes her away in a huff and says, money don't matter tonight. Money don't matter tonight. It sure didn't matter yesterday. Just when you think you got more than enough, that's when it all up and flies away. That's when you find out that you're better off making sure your soul's alright. 'Cause money didn't matter yesterday, and it sure don't matter tonight. Look, here's a cool investment. They're telling him he just can't lose. So he goes out and tries to find a partner, but all he finds are users. That's when it all up and flies away. That's when you find out that you're better off making sure your soul's alright. Soul's alright. 'Cause money didn't matter yesterday, and it sure don't matter tonight. Ooh, it don't matter. It don't matter tonight. Hey, now maybe we can find a good reason to send a child off to war. So what if we're controlling all the oil? Is it worth a child dying for? Is it worth it? Long life is what we all live for, then long life will come to pass. Anything is better than the picture of the child in a cloud of gas. And you think you got it bad, money don't matter tonight. It sure didn't matter yesterday. Just when you think you got more than enough, that's when it all up and flies away. That's when you find out that you're better off making sure your soul's alright. Certain that your soul's alright. Money didn't matter yesterday, it sure don't matter tonight. Money don't matter tonight, it sure didn't matter yesterday. Just when you think you got more than enough, that's when it all up and flies away. That's when you find out that you're better off making sure your soul's alright. Money didn't matter yesterday, and it sure don't matter tonight.
That was Money Don't Matter by Prince. What does the future hold for you?
Well, only God knows, of course, what the future holds for any of us. We could be struck down now. We could live a long life. We could go on to greater success, or we could slump and lose all that we have achieved. Fate is something that can't be predicted and is in God's hands. I believe that as long as God gives me breath, I will continue to do what I'm doing. I have a set of beliefs that I fight for everywhere, in every medium, on television, on the streets, on stage, in books, in parliament, and elections, and so on. If I was writing a script for myself, I would stay in parliament for another little while, and I might run for Mayor of London, which is coming up in 2016, and which has quite an open field because Boris Johnson is retiring. Ken Livingstone has already retired. I would never have stood against Ken Livingstone, but I'm relishing the idea of standing against the kind of people that Labour is currently proposing as their candidates and discussing. So that's one possibility. I hope that Scotland will not become a separate country, but if Scotland does become a separate country, I'll have to look at the political situation that leaves, and so it's not impossible that I could try and make a comeback in Scottish politics. I was an MP here for a long time in Glasgow. Or I might not be, because of course winning the mayorship of London is a very, very tall order. You need 1 million votes. You need to raise and spend £1 million. It's not easy to do either. So that would leave me in 2016 maybe coming to the end of elective office. But I still think that in my written work and on television and radio and so on, I have something to offer. I'd like to have my own radio station. I enjoyed my time at TalkSport very much. 7 years nearly I did a weekly show, 3 hours. For a long time, 2 nights a week, so 6 hours a week. And we built a university of the airwaves, really, in that mother of all talk shows. And I'm attracted to radio very much. And so with the new technology and internet radio and so on, it's not impossible that I could end up with my own radio station or with others as a partner in a radio station. After all, Britain currently doesn't have any commercial talk radio, national commercial talk radio, because talk sport has become purely sport. So all these are possibilities. I told you I hope to have more children. I have young children already. So I hope I live long enough to see these things come to fruition. But if I don't, I feel that I've made the best of whatever gifts I was given, and I've done the best that I could for the things that I believe in.
Your penultimate song.
Well, this is not about Rangers, but it is called Tangled Up in Blue. And of course, Rangers currently are tangled up in blue. But it's the only Dylan song. I mean, I could easily have chosen all my songs as Dylan songs because the canon is so great. But of all Dylan's albums, Blood on the Tracks is the best album, in my view. And of all the tracks on that album, all of which are great, this Tangled Up in Blue is the best. It's a movie in a song. If I had time to do it, I could write a movie just out of these lyrics, 4 or 5 minutes long. It's Tangled Up in Blue by the incomparable Bob Dylan.
Early one morning the sun was shining, I was laying in bed, wondering if she'd changed it all, if her hair was still red. Her folks, they said our lives together sure was gonna be rough. They never did like Mama's homemade dress, Papa's bank book wasn't big enough. And I was standing on the side of the road, rain falling on my shoes, heading out for the East Coast. Lord knows I paid some dues getting through, tangled up in blue. She was married when we first met, soon to be divorced. I helped her out of a jam, I guess, but I used a little too much force. We drove that car as far as we could, abandoned it out west. Split up on the docks at night, both agreeing it was best. And she turned around to look at me as I was walking away. I heard her say over my shoulder, we'll meet again someday on the avenue, tangled up in blue. I had a job in the great North Woods, working as a cook for a spell, but I never did like it all that much, and one day the axe just fell. So I drifted down to New Orleans, where lucky with a be employed, working for a while on a fishing boat right outside of Delacroix. But all the while I was alone, the past was close behind. I seen a lot of women, but she never escaped my mind, and I just grew tangled up in blue. She was working in a topless place, and I stopped in for a beer. I just kept looking at the side of her face in the spotlight so clear. And later on, when the crowd thinned out, I was just about to do the same. She was standing there in back of my chair. I said, Timmy, don't I know your name? I muttered something underneath my breath. She studied the lines on my face. I must admit, felt a little uneasy when she bent down to tie the laces of my shoe, tangled up in blue. She lit a burner on the stove and offered me a pipe. I thought you'd never say hello, she said, you look like a silent type. Then she opened up a book of poems and handed it to me, written by an Italian poet from the 13th century. And every one of them words rang true and glowed like burning coal, pouring off of every page like it was written in my soul. From me to you, tangled up in blue. near Montague Street, the basement down the stairs. There was music in the cafes at night and revolution in the air. Then he started into dealing with slaves and something inside of him died. She had to sell everything she owned and froze up inside. And when it finally, the bottom fell out, I became withdrawn. The only thing I knew how to do was to keep on keeping on like a bird that flew, trying to let me blue. So now I'm going back again. I got to get to her somehow. All the people we used to know, they're an illusion to me now. Some are mathematicians, some are carpenters' wives. Don't know how it all got started. I don't know what they're doing with their lives. But me, I'm still on the road, heading for another joint. We always did feel the same, we just saw it from a different point of view. Tangled up in blue.
Right, we'll come to the part of the programme where I give you the complete works of the dandy and a copy of the Bible to take with you to your island. Would you like a copy of the Bible?
Yeah, well, I have one, but you can never have too many Bibles, so that's very kind of you. I was never a dandy fan, though, having been brought up in Dundee, where the D.C. Thompson empire once commanded the whole British comic market, and I was one of their main readers, but not particularly of the dandy. I used to get the Hornet and the Hotspur and the Victor, all of which are now gone, and I used to look forward to them avidly. The Wolf of Kabul, Wilson, who was a man, I think, of 200 or 300 years old, who was a supreme athlete, Alf Tupper, the tough of the track, as well as, of course, Dennis the Menace and all the better-known comics characters. So, yes, if I'm going to be on this desert island, thanks very much for those works of art. I have the ability to create books in my own head. One of the things with which I'm blessed, or maybe cursed, it can be either, is that I have an astonishing memory. I never forget anything. And so, not quite any book I've ever read, but most books I've ever read, I could recount them all in my head. So that would keep me going on the desert island whilst I waited for a rescue.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. Which other book would you take, and why?
I'd probably take the complete works of Karl Marx, not least because they're very, very long and difficult to read, and that would occupy a lot of time, and I'd be better educated at the end than I am now.
A luxury. Something to make your life a bit more bearable on the island. That it can't be a phone, and it can't be another human being.
Well, I was going to say I'd definitely take my wife, because she's my best luxury that anyone could ever have. So not a phone and not a human being. It would have to be, then, my Henrik Larsson video. He was so great, man.
Oh, fantastic.
I said at the Fringe today, on his last day, on his last game, when all those people were singing, "Oh, won't you stay just a little bit longer?" I wept. I'm a strong man and a grown man, and I wept. Seldom can someone from a foreign country have come amongst us for relatively such a short time and yet have stolen our hearts. He was really, really something. Henrik, if you ever hear this, I salute you, man.
Your final song?
Well, this song is pure gold. It's also very rare because of the bizarre and fantastic circumstances of the producer of the record, Phil Spector, and his relationship to the lead singer in the band, to whom he was briefly married. And then when she left him, he refused to allow this record to be on any compilation or anywhere outside of his control, which means that for a lot of people, they haven't heard it nearly as often as they ought to, because in 3 minutes, this record actually says it all. It is the eternal story of boy meets girl, and they take each other's hearts. And it was so important to me, this song, that it's the song that I left the wedding hall with my wife hand in hand, swaying and singing it amongst all the guests in the British Parliament building last summer. It is the Ronettes. It is Be My Baby.
George Galloway, thank you very much for being a Desert Island Tim.
I've very much enjoyed it. Thanks for the opportunity.
Tonight